Sonny, Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building.
Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. His fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown. Here comes the shakedown.
Let's go.
Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here. Welcome to the Philly Shakedown podcast on a Friday night this week because, listen, it's a big weekend for the Eagles in football, man. Joey Shakes, what is going on with you, man? How are you?
Not much. It's been a crazy day today, but we're trying to close this thing out. We got 2 games left. We have a playoff game in reach, and we're just trying to see seeding. We're trying to see this team kind of evolve before it's too late, and that's what we're kind of looking for right now. So
yeah, well, I appreciate you doing this tonight. I totally forgot the Cowboys are playing tomorrow night. A big game that really affects the Eagles. And really, I want to get your opinion on how we're supposed to even root for this game. It'll be interesting. But let me say hi to the chat so far. Logan Motorsports, what's going on? Twits, what's happening? Eagles Nation, Youngin, Derek, Jameson, Leon, Fat Fool is here. Peyton, I just love that name. Claw, Num, what's going on, buddy? Mark, he says Joey Shakes, but that's you and me. Clark, Major Payne, Big D. John, what's going on? Philly and Oz, what's happening? Jerry Frey, Elaine, Trey, Rob, a lot of people in here. All right, we got a lot of people. If I missed you guys, I'm sorry. Just have to catch up to the chat. First thing first, we get Avonte Maddox back this week, Joey.
yeah,
That I think could become a huge return for the Eagles later on. What are your thoughts on getting him back? Do you think
it's great. I mean, the question is now if he's clear to come back this week, which it looks like he's going to be playing this Sunday.
Yeah.
How much more time? He's got to get acclimated to. I mean, practice is practice, but acclimated to actually getting minutes in games now is going to be the big thing. So he's got to get back into football shape, I guess. Getting used to being in the defense in a real game, and the last 2 weeks should hopefully help him. Get him back on track, but getting him back is huge, though, no doubt.
Yeah, and we definitely hope that his big ass toe is healed. Like I've never seen a guy for like 2 straight years every week on an injury report with a toe. Like it's crazy to me.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Listen, look at this guy. We got the Cowboy nuts already here. Hurts is not a Super Bowl winner. Look, Dak Prescott. What is he? Did he win a Super Bowl? He hasn't even got out of the second round of playoffs. So I mean, how could you even say that? Just, this is what it's going to be tomorrow. But I can't wait to stream that Cowboys-Lions game, man.
You have mixed feelings, don't you?
I do. Like what's best for the Philadelphia Eagles? I think it's best that the Eagles get the 2 seed. At the worst, the 2 seed. And if the Eagles can't beat Arizona and the Giants the last 2 weeks of the season, maybe they don't deserve it. So, logically, I'm going for the Cowboys tomorrow. I have to root for them logically. But every time Detroit scores a touchdown, I can't tell you I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to be happy to watch Dallas get their ass kicked. But it makes more sense for the Eagles to win. I mean, for the Eagles to get the 2 seed, I think. See, I think the 2 seed is the easiest way to the championship game. I think it's even an easier path than the 1st seed. So I want that 2 seed.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what. I mean, it doesn't really matter what San Francisco does anymore, does it now? Because even losing.
If they lose and we win out, we get the 1 seed.
Yeah, so they have what? Commanders and Rams.
The Rams, the one we have to worry about. If the Rams clinch the playoff spot, it's going to kill us. But if they have to win that game, they're playing good football.
Yeah.
So, who knows? Midnight Moreland, thank you so much for the super chat, man. Appreciate it. Now, I mean, listen, it's going to be hard to go for the Cowboys. It is. But I don't know. If you get the 2 seed, you play the worst seed in the first round of playoffs. So you're talking about Seattle or Minnesota.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. They're not coming to Philly winning. Then you would probably most likely play Detroit. The divisional round of the playoffs. Well, Detroit defense is not great. They're not the same team on the road, and Goff has got a horrible record outdoor stadiums in December and on.
Well, when it comes to Detroit, it's gonna come down to toughness, and because they play really tough, and they're a good resilient team there. So you always want to be tough against teams, but you have to be tough regardless. I mean, just even if you get to the Super Bowl, whether depending, Baltimore's gonna be a tough team to beat. And they could look like the favorites, so you never know.
I like Baltimore. I watched that San Francisco. I like the style of defense. Like, they hit you, man. They're not afraid to play football. That team's tough.
You saw the press conferences before that game, and you saw what Roquan Smith said. Like, they were just not having it. They weren't being all, Debo's just being silly. Yeah, they weren't just saying
they brought the attitude I wanted the Eagles to have that game versus San Francisco. Exactly. To me, that's how the Eagles should have approached that game. Webfoot, thank you for the super chat. He goes, kicking of the super chat, never root for the Cowboys. Listen, I get it. But, man, what you got to do what's best for your team, no? Now, here's the opposite side. If Detroit wins, the Eagles win out. They're the 2 seed at worst. If the Cowboys lose tomorrow, then we can clinch the division with the win versus Arizona. So all we would have to do is win the Arizona game, and the division's clinched. The New York game would not matter in terms of winning the division, but it would still matter in terms of seeding. You still need Detroit to lose one more game. So I don't know. It's going to be hard for me to sit there and root for the Cowboys. I don't know that I can do it, dude. I honestly don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And at the end of the day, the Eagles got to take care of business, and we need to find out what team they're going. We're going to find out if they could find somewhat of an identity. I mean, we could talk about the Giants game in a little bit, whatever you want, or whatever.
Jeremiah says, "Hey Philly, for us to win a Super Bowl, would you let a team run a train on you? What the hell do I look like? Hell no! You never win a Super Bowl ever again. Forget it. It's over. You never win in nothing." No, of course not. No,
it'll be nothing.
That's you never win. You'll never win.
Yeah.
They're talking MJ. No, rather way, if we win, we are in better position. As long as the Eagles win, they win a division. They can't get the 2 seed if Detroit wins out, though. I don't think they can. I think it's not strength of schedule. I forget what it is, but it doesn't look like we would get it. So Davey says 500. Do we want the Rams to beat the Giants? Do the Rams clinch a playoff berth if they win? Because I think if the Rams clinch a playoff berth, they're going to treat that 49ers game like a bye week. They're going to treat it like a bye week. And then that means the number 1 seed's pretty much over. So what you have to, and here's the thing to understand. If you're the number 3 seed, you have to play the Rams most likely week 1 of the first round of the playoffs. So if the Eagles are the 3 seed, most likely they're going to have to play the Rams in the first game. The Rams are playing really good football right now. That's a bit of a dangerous game in Philly. Even though it's in Philly, and I think the Eagles win, the Rams are still playing pretty good football. Then you would have to beat Detroit in Detroit. So that's your path. You get 2 home games or 1 game at home, 1 game in Detroit, and then maybe to San Francisco.
Right.
But, I mean, we'll see. So I think for the what's best for the Eagles, I think is for Dallas to win. I do.
It might be.
B Fat or what? I don't know. B Fatty's fighting with somebody. Tristan said 500. We want the best for the Eagles, and I want them to show up. Well, showing up is a whole different scenario. What are your thoughts on this whole week with the Eagles and the AJ Brown situation, which I I don't care that he's not talking to the media. I could care less. But like, what are your thoughts about what's going on?
I mean, like, even with the AJ Brown thing, like, I feel like he saw what happened to Hurts and like how much criticism he was getting, and I feel like what is there to talk about? Like, even winning against the Giants, and you won pretty ugly. You know, I mean, what is there to really talk about at this point? So don't give the media any ammunition, and just don't show up. But I don't know. I mean, the Giants game really didn't. They've showed me that what works does work, and what doesn't work is what they've been doing the whole entire season. And you know, your identity, and you know, I mean, the defense is what it is right now. It's really just the offense, because we have to put points on the board and not getting your receivers open and doing the same basic plays. And I think the most important thing is, you know, running the ball, you know, running the offense through DeAndre Swift. We see how much the rhythm is so good. After DeAndre Swift has a run, it's like Jalen Hurts looks better, and they just don't do that.
They're morons. I'm so sorry. Nick Sirianni's a moron. I think he's a complete moron. Abimelech says, question, guys. I don't know contracts, but is there something in AJ's contract that he needs to fulfill? The owners are screwing him out of contract. I don't think so. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I'm going to tell you why AJ Brown's not talking. It's not because he wants more balls. It's not because he's mad at Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
He isn't talking because he doesn't want to come out and trash his coaches.
True.
He doesn't want to. He's pissed off at the coaches. They're pissed off. These players are frustrated. You see Devontae Smith, you know, arguing with Nick Sirianni on the sideline. Did you see the look on AJ Brown's face? They're pissed off at the coaches. I don't think this coaching staff, this is my theory, I don't think they're listening to the players. I think the players want them to do certain things different. The players keep throwing hints down. They keep going, well, we need more explosive plays. They're trying to tell the coaches, you've got to do a better job coaching. And I think that's the issue. And I think that anything AJ Brown says is going to be used against him. So why talk? I don't blame him at all.
And I don't think it's boiled over yet. I don't think it's spilled over yet, because we have a playoff game. If the Eagles would just add the playoffs right now, I think this whole thing would explode right now. And since
I agree.
we have
And I think this whole season is going to be a lot of drama.
Mm-hmm.
Lucius the Show, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, Rams clinch with the win and either a Seahawks loss or tie in Green Bay, Minnesota game. Then we want them to lose, because if the Rams clinch, then they're going to bench. They're not going to play their starters. They're not going to care about being the 7th seed or the 7th seed or 6th seed. They don't care about that. They got to go on the road either way. They're going to rest all their starters. And that means 49ers walk through. That means 49ers play a bad Washington game and event. So we want the Rams to have to win, you know.
Right.
But I think people are making way too much of it. And the media does that. And as soon as AJ Brown has a bad game, like if he doesn't go out and have like 8 catches, 150 yards, a touchdown, let's say he has 3 catches for 40 yards, they're going to kill him. They're going to kill him. He can't win either way, because what he wants to say, I think, is about what the coaches are doing. He's frustrated. I mean, everybody saw the clip of how he reacted with Covey when Covey had a good return. It's not on his team. He's not being
it's not against players. It's not against players.
He's doing what he has to do to keep everything in house. I can't blame him for that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Kaufman, David Super Chat goes, Jeff McClain needs his press credentials revoked. He's a problem starter. He is.
Mm-hmm.
He is. Webfoot, David Super Chat goes, run with Swift and slant routes, not that hard. The slant that Devontae Smith scored on, that could work 80% of the time if they would just do it, you know. 500, we want what's best with the Eagles, and I want them to show up. I want them to show up too. They need to beat the crap out of this team, man. It would be nice if they had a complete game where they went out and just dominated. You know, I think everybody would have a sigh of relief, you know. But what I saw in that Giant game, and we talked about it, I think they completely panicked. It was 20-3 at halftime. They fumbled that opening kickoff, and I think they got panicky and they got really, really tight, dude. You know?
Yeah.
And it tells me that there's stuff going on with the coaches.
Take the 14 points off. You had like a slip from Goddard that resulted in a pick 6, which I can't put too much on Jalen Hurts for that. And you had that stupid kick return with Zacchaeus running into Boston Scott, giving them hope, inside the 10 or whatever it was, inside the 15, whatever it was. So, I mean, you take the 14 points off, the game looks a lot better. They should score 30 on that team. They should score more than that. They should probably score 35 plus or 40 plus on that team. Like, they should be scoring a lot more than they have this season. So,
right. Hey, Tristan, please don't spam the chat, man. We'll get to your comment, but please don't spam the chat. Mad Titan Denver Super Chat goes, good evening, boys. Wishing both of you a happy and healthy new year. Big Eagles win coming up on Sunday. Cowboys will choke tomorrow night. I know, but do we want that? Do we want them to choke? That's the question. Thank you, Mad Titan. Dom says, I just rather not look at it like this, all this drama. It's just players trying hard to put pressure on themselves, especially standard stuff. The team is what, to me. I agree. But, the media keeps making a big deal. He won't talk to us. And then, it's like, to me, it's like, I don't care. I don't care. Just play on Sunday. Be ready. Scott Davis Super Chat goes, Sirianni the type to clog your toilet and not tell you. Yeah. Do you think Sirianni is looking like do you think people are looking at him differently of late?
Yeah.
Because of everything?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think the press conferences are making him look stupid every week. So is this all Nick's plan that's accepted by Howie, or is this fully 100% Nick? That's like the big question here. Because Nick, after the Cowboys lost, it's like, hey, I've been running this, this is the same, offense you ran like the last couple of years. I'm like, well, it don't really look like it. So I just, I remember he got aggravated after the Cowboys lost too, when someone asked him about accountability and the standard, and he got pissed off. Like, I don't, what happened to fundamentals? What happened to like all that talk about? I mean, it looks, you can't even get wide receivers open. You can't even throw anything short quick. You want to be lazy, and you don't want to work for yards. Let your players work for the yards. Like, you always want to throw the bomb downfield on early downs. You always want to make things harder. Your substitutions are making your offense more predictable on if it's a pass, if it's a run. Calcaterra had 2 receptions, his first reception last game. And I'm glad that they at least used him so it wouldn't look obvious if he comes to the game for Dallas Goedert that they know he's not going to get the ball. So they have to do different things. But DeAndre Swift is so freaking unstoppable. I mean, this is going to be his first 1,000-yard. You have 2 1,000-yard receivers, and DeAndre Swift needs 12 yards next game to get 1,000 yards, like 2 years straight. I mean, this team doesn't look like you would have. A bad team doesn't have 2 1,000-yard receivers. It doesn't happen that way. So
no, he could have 1,400 yards if they would have used them right. As a David Super Chat goes, I watched some film on the games and can see why Gainwell is almost more important than Swift. A running back is expendable if he can't pass block. But here's my argument. Gainwell can't pass block either. He stinks at it. He doesn't even know what side to be on a lot of times.
He had a good game, though. I mean, the thing is, he had a good game last game, but the problem is, like, on certain, like, moments, like, when you're on a roll and they take Swift out, I can't stand that shit. And I feel like they get more pass happy when they take him out of the game all the time.
Well, and Essay, thank you for the super chat. And I definitely get your point. My issue with Gainwell isn't so much that they use him. I'm fine with that, but I just don't like how they use the running backs. I don't like that you play Swift in the first quarter, and then in the second quarter is all Gainwell. Then Gainwell in the third quarter to start. Then Swift starts working the second half of the third quarter, and then he's big in the fourth quarter. I just don't like the way they use them. Thank Kelly Green Burrito, member for 31 months, man. Thank you so much for your support. I think AJ is mad the media is trashing his BFF. Maybe
it could be.
Maybe. But to me, if I had to guess, I think it's against the coaches. But it might be that they're pissed off about the way he's talking to Hurts. I don't know. I mean, you could totally be right. Nathaniel, welcome to Dingbat Nation, buddy. Thank you so much for joining me. I just posted a Dingbat Nation video too, so you can watch that afterwards. But thank you so much. It's going to be interesting. Tristan says, "I just want to hear my thoughts." Tristan, what is your thoughts? I just looked for it. I can't find it now. Tell me Tristan. Tell me what you wanted to say. I want to read it. Dom says Shane Huff broke down Gainwell's pass protection. It's not always bad. They use both backs when they like the matchup. Swift still is our man. Running back 20 carries high in usage in Philly. To me, it's the way that they use the backs. Like, I don't want Swift not in the game the whole second quarter. Every second quarter. Like, do you ever notice that our second quarters go to hell? Like, that's where we screw everything up.
Yeah, and I think like when they start using Swift a lot, and I feel like once they start putting more on Jalen Hurts in like a read option type thing, and like Hurts has to decide whether he's going to hand the ball off or keep it, and he's so indecisive that the play takes forever to develop to give the ball or going to keep it. So I mean, I think that's a part of it. I mean, you don't see DeAndre Swift in the passing game anymore. They took that's done now.
They did that like for 1 week. Like 1 week. And God, when the Giants are coming with all those blitzes, you know how nice it would have been to run a nice wide receiver screen, not a wide receiver screen, but like a running back out of the backfield, hit him out of the backfield. Big yards. Your boy Roy says, "Are you guys over Nick Sirianni as our head coach?" Honestly, if we don't run the ball in the playoffs, I'm over him personally. I'm over DeAndre Swift getting 6-7 carries a game. I have kind of soured on him a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, over the last few weeks, and to me, it's just how the handling of this team and the 3-game losing streak, and watching him yell at Devontae Smith on the sideline, like I feel like he's panicking, and I don't like it. As far as the play calling, the play calling with not using Swift is insane to me.
I feel if they lose one of these last 2 games and they are one and done in the playoffs, I feel like Nick will be more on the hot seat. Not gonna say it's gonna happen, but I feel like it will be close to happening. It might.
Yeah, Eagles fans said AJ got traded out of Tennessee because they couldn't tolerate his behavior in the locker room. That is not why he got traded.
That's not true at all.
It's not true at all. The locker room loved him. The reason he got traded was because he wanted a contract, new contract, and they did not want to pay him. Vrabel was not happy about trading him.
No.
So that's just not true.
Then after AJ Brown pretty much embarrassed the Titans last year, they fired the GM. GM got fired.
That's right. Yeah, it wasn't the owner; it was the GM that decided not to rehire him. And that's what's going to happen. The media, because he didn't talk to him, they're going to make him out to be the bad guy, especially if he has a bad game. You watch. 500. Who would you want as the next head coach? I don't know. I can't even. I don't even know at this point. I haven't even put any thought in it. Let's get Belichick. Can you imagine?
I'll hire Joe Brady as the offensive coordinator from Buffalo. I'll hire Joe Brady. I'll hire. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel coaching staff is teaching these players what they want. All the wide receiver drills, fumble drills, all that coaching it. Yeah, I mean, maybe
I mean,
look
what Brian Johnson said today. It was kind of like, we heard, about the crowd chanting "run the ball," and he was just like, I try to figure out some plays, what to do. He's like, a lot of teams are good on first and second down, but I think where we really do well is third down. And it was just like they feel like if they force themselves in the third down, they play better. I don't know, like. Why aren't you trying to move the sticks on first and second down easily? Like, I feel like it's just an excuse. Like, he doesn't, like, I don't know.
I don't.
It sounds weird to me. Like, it doesn't sound like, I don't know. It's just weird.
There's something up that we're not going to know about to the end of the year. I'm willing to bet it has to do with the analytics getting in the way of the game call. I'm willing to bet that's what it is going to come down to. Fat fool. He said, "What's up, Big Dog? What's going on, man? How are you?" I have a feeling that's what it is, Joey. But I mean, I don't know. S.A. Davis Super Chat goes, remember how Brian Westbrook would lay people out in pass blocking? It was one of the most important aspects of a back these days since it's pass-heavy league. Gainwell's a bit better pass blocker. But is he so much better that you would leave DeAndre Swift out for an entire quarter? See, I don't think he's that good. Like, he's not. Brian Westbrook was very good pass blocker. I don't know that Gainwell. I don't consider Gainwell a great pass blocker. Maybe he's a little bit better than Swift. I'll
that's what
Well,
Miles Sanders was good at when he was with us. Miles Sanders was
don't
great
you
at
think
it.
Boston Scott's better than Gainwell in pass blocking?
No.
I do. I'd rather have both Scott pass block than Gainwell.
It's like if you feel like your running backs have a weakness in pass blocking, then they have to figure something out. Like they have to do some quick passes off the line because everything's just taking too long. I feel like it's either going to pass 3 times or you're gonna do a 2-yard run. It's going to be a 2-yard run, and then they're just going to and stray away from it again. I feel like there were times where they'll pass 3 times, they'll get a first down on the 3rd down, and then they'll start to run the ball. I like the beginning of the Giants game where they said, fuck it, let's just run with like they just gave the ball to Swift. There was no read out, nothing. Like that was the play. Just feed them.
Yeah.
And look at the second half. What, 20? What was it? 20? It was like what? Just minus the first half, it was what, like 15, 16 carries for 90 something yards, whatever.
I don't remember what it was.
I forgot. It was over 61 yards in the second half. I mean, that's how easily. Come on now.
Yeah,
crazy.
No, yeah. I'm not arguing that Gainwell shouldn't be in the game at times.
No.
I get that. What I'm arguing is how they choose to put him in. So you have Swift the first quarter, and then Swift just disappears the whole entire second quarter. Like to me, that was what I don't like. And SA, thank you for that super chat, man. Appreciate it. Nathaniel says, and David super chat goes, do you trust all this drama going into the postseason? Well, I don't know what. It's hard to know what is being blown up into
What's
something
real?
Bigger than what it is. Like the AJ Brown not talking to the media. Is that really affecting the locker room? Is that really affecting them practicing? No. Nobody cares about that. But I do think there is something going on. I just don't know what it is. Jameson Smith Davis Super Chat goes, perfect coach for this team would be Mike McDaniel. I like Mike McDaniel, dude. I do. I watch. Have you watched the HBO with the Dolphins at all?
I haven't.
I've been watching that. That's pretty good. Broderick Davis Super Chat goes, would you like to see Seth Joyner as a defensive coordinator? I would, but the Eagles would never do it because they don't want to run that style. I mean,
and he's uncontrollable. He's uncontrollable.
He would kill those players. I could literally see Seth Joyner beating the crap out of players on the field. You know what I mean? Like no. Nick Davis Super Chat, he goes, I hope they run out of the pistol more this game. Gainwell can't run out of shotgun when he is even with Hurts. He was so much better going downhill. I agree. I would like to see more of it.
Swift can run through the tackles and make anybody miss because you don't know where he's going to move. I mean, he could turn on a dime. How many times he run to the right side, got clogged up, go to the left side, and still outrun the defense? It's just crazy,
right.
Dude. Crazy.
Yeah, it totally is. Tristan, I'm looking for your comment. This poor guy wants to send me a comment. I can't even find it.
I think he's
repeat it in it.
I think he's
no. I think he's serious. I think he's trying to say something.
I don't see nothing.
I can't see. I don't see nothing, man. Oh, maybe this is here. It is. Tristan, I'm thinking the defense is on the right track, but the issue for the offense is they cannot keep the right plays and keep a nice rhythm. What do you both think?
That's true.
Well, yeah. I mean, defensively, I still think they need to do more. Especially, they got to find a way to get pressure. Like they're not getting pressure with their front four. They're just not. They gotta start blitzing more. They gotta start running some stunts, do some
Please God.
But they gotta try to manufacture more pressure. As far as the offense, I believe I agree with you. I think the rhythm part is self-inflicted. Like every time they seem like they're in a rhythm and they're doing a good job, right? And they seem like they're getting into a rhythm. And then all of a sudden it's like they go away from it completely. It's like you were just running the ball. You had a great mix. You had an 8-minute drive. You scored some points. Now you come out and you throw 6 straight times. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? So, to me, it's self-inflicted, you know? Yeah, the play designs are awful. I agree.
They're going to find out.
Yep.
They're going to find out.
Yeah. I mean, somebody asked me today on a DM if I thought they were holding back, for the playoffs, and then we're going to, go back.
I don't believe any of that shit.
Go back into the, the read options and stuff. I don't think so either. I think they would have done it already. It's by the way they panicked, because I think in that second half of that Giants game, they started to panic. When Boston Scott fumbled that ball, they started to panic, especially Nick Sirianni. And I think I think it showed on the field. And that tells me there's no secret plan. What we see is what we get.
No, it's true.
Jason says, I would get defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, someone who worked with either Pete Carroll or Kyle Shanahan. Look at McDaniels and Dan Quinn. Yeah, I mean, Dan Quinn is a better coordinator than he is a coach. McDaniels, yeah, I like McDaniels.
The assistant for Dan Quinn, I forgot his name. The other guy on Dallas, really, really vocal, really good. I forgot his name, but he's definitely a top candidate.
Dallas will bring heat. They're not afraid to be aggressive. Death Row South, thank you for Super Chat. Goes, they were running the RP on the first half of the Giants game. Second half, they keep stalling out. Once they run those 10 plays, then they get lost. It's like, yeah, it definitely is. Yeah. Phil, you watch any Browns game? I watched like the first quarter, and that was it. But it's great to see Joe Flacco, man. Joe Flacco is killing it right now. He's playing
great.
Good for him. S.A. David Super Chat goes, how about starting Covey in the slot like Wes Walker? Well, they did use him last week in the slot.
That was interesting. Yeah.
I would like to see more of dude, crash test Covey, man. What do you think?
He's a top 2 punt returner in the league. I mean, dude, I mean, just imagine, like, would the Eagles have scored on that first drive if he didn't get it to the fit? Like that, I always wonder that. Like, Covey's the main reason why, like, they really scored points, to be honest with you.
Covey, man. Covey was good.
He was aggressive getting the ball.
I actually like that idea. Like, I would like to see him a little more involved in the slot.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, Quez Watkins, it got like 2 snaps last game. And I think maybe he could give you some juice, Why not? I'm all for it. Linda, what is up, Linda? Good to see you. Van Summerman had a solid game. Yeah, what did you think about Van Summerman?
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, what I could tell from Van, what we saw in the offseason, he's a freak athlete. He's quick, but his tackling just has to get better. He's just got to get more terminology under his belt, and probably another offseason. But he's quick, man.
He's got some talent, man. He's got something to he's got something to build on. I thought Shaq Leonard had his best game.
Oh yeah,
I thought he was good. Ishmael, man, thank you so much for Super Chat, man. We appreciate that, man.
Shit.
Thank you so much. He goes, look, it is what it is. They either hate Philly or love us. Hate to say we need Jim Schwartz defense. Look, I'm going to say, mark my words, Eagles will get the 1 seed. Lions are pretenders, and 49ers lost their mojo. Ishmael, thank you so much for Super Chat, man. I hope you're right. And I think that looking at Jim Schwartz, what his defense, the way he plays defense now, and then you look at Gannon, which, he blitzes a lot more. I think when we play the Cardinals on Sunday, people are going to be going, why didn't Gannon do that with us? It makes you wonder who's controlling what they're doing on the field. It really does.
I mean, it just shows you, because then you go into this season and Nick wants to keep the same defense. So then I start to wonder, did Jonathan Gannon, was he controlled about how to run his defense last year? But I mean, you got, I wouldn't say you have less talent on the defense this year. We obviously lost some players. I think Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was the biggest loss, because you lost that hybrid player, and we had to draft some guys, and we have some guys cross-training over time. And since Matt Patricia took over, I felt like a lot more of the young guys have really flourished a lot the last couple weeks. We've been giving up the big play, so that's probably the difference between the side to Matt Patricia. But I feel like we're starting to see some players really spread their wings a little bit, and we're starting to see some progression there. So
yeah, I mean, is that really Desai's defense?
No,
Like, is this, you know what I'm
he
saying?
says
Like,
that. He says that shit. Sorry,
yeah.
but he does.
No, you're right. You're right. JP Pitbull, David Superchat goes, do you think Howie is too involved? Yeah,
I
I
do.
think most likely it's the analytic. When I say analytics department, that's Howie's department. And I think they're too involved in the game plan. I think they are. I mean, listen, the general manager has the final say on the last 3 roster spots. So, I mean, to me, that's too involved already, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And David Superchat, David Superchat goes, Quez needs to go. He can barely run routes. I agree. I think the Quez Watkins experiment is
Zacchaeus
over.
just shows more heart. I mean, look
Yeah,
at
did
him
you see the
blocking
blocking?
downfield.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
downfield. Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Fat Folder, remember for 20 months, he goes, did you see AJ's Twitter? That will explain everything. Are you
yeah.
talking about the one with the press conference? Is that what he's talking
Kevin
about?
Durant
Yeah,
video.
is that what he's talking about?
Yeah,
But
probably.
Durant all he says is something about the media twists his words and things like that, right?
Yeah, and part of it's like, like I just want to play, I just want to play and I want to go home and I just want to do my job and that's it. And I feel like he just doesn't want any part of being of the media. He does, and I think like you said earlier, I think part of it is like passively giving a message to the coaching staff, because what AJ Brown said was like, if I say something, you're not going to like it. And Devontae Smith said after the game too, he said, well, both our answers are different. So I wonder if Devontae Smith is not as pissed at the coaching staff. He knows that like things have to change and they have time to change the next couple weeks. But AJ Brown is probably beyond that, and to be honest with you, it's not like AJ Brown. If it was AJ Brown that had like 300 yards this year, I'd be like, bro, like, why are you making a big deal out of this now? I get it, but AJ Brown like had a lot of help with a lot of these games. I mean, for 6 games,
Yeah.
125 plus yards, and give credit to Jalen Hurts, but AJ Brown helped. We wouldn't win a lot of these games without AJ Brown.
No, I would say at the midway point, he was arguably one of the MVP candidates for the league, AJ Brown. So, I agree with you. I do think what he's pissed off about, and he said he wasn't want to speak, was more that I still believe it was the coaching staff involving what they're doing, but he was also saying that whatever he says the words will be twisted by the media. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
Q says, Philly, Nick told the media that he's planning on making Jonathan Gannon feel so uncomfortable that he will never step foot in Philly again.
Right.
He better back that up. That, you know what I mean? They need to back that up. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the truth. Howie Vision is tunnel. Listen, Howie Vision is not always a good thing. There's good parts to it and bad. You never know how it's going to go. You just don't.
Yeah.
Howie's got one more year left here, correct? Nah, he ain't going nowhere. There's no way this owner is going to let Howie Roseman go. Howie Roseman's going to end up owning this team when it's all said and done. I think he's got 1 year, but I think he'll get an extension.
It's gonna show you more control. Like if Nick gets fired, if it even happens, you're gonna see where the control lies. You're gonna see it. Because I'm telling you right now, like if Jeffrey Lurie will pick Howie Roseman over his Super Bowl winning head coach and Doug Peterson, this firing will be no problem. And if the Eagles if the Eagles get the first seed, I'd rather them get the most pressure possible, where you get first seed, you get a bye week, and then you lose the game at home, and that would be the worst thing that could happen with rest.
No, that would be real bad. Especially if it was to the Cowboys. that would be bad. Mark says, even if we hear about the drama at the year's end, it's highly probable that will be more BS. Yeah, there'll be a lot of BS sprinkled in with layers of truth, and sifting through it will be interesting. I'm more interested to see how the players and what the players say. That's going to be, to me, more interesting than what the media puts out, because the media puts out the narrative the team wants a lot of times. Dom says it's up to these players, but that's why I feel they are putting pressure on themselves, because they keep trying to live to their standard. We should be trying to win games. That's how I see it. I agree, but I wouldn't be surprised if those players are going to the coaching staff. We need to do this. We need to change this. Like, I think they've given hints about like we need more explosive plays. We need I think they're trying to put hints out there at the coaching staff, but are they listening?
But why aren't they going to the coaching staff? Why aren't they going to the office? Why aren't they?
I think they might. I mean,
They
I
had
we
to
don't
have
know.
by now.
I'm sure they did, and maybe they're not listening, and nothing's changing, and that's why you got guys like AJ Brown pissed off. And what's he going to say? We went to the coaching staff. They're not changing anything. Anything he says at that point in the media, they're going to blast him. Tourville says Eagles need to start planning on moving away from Slay, Bradbury, and Maddox. Transition to another cornerback who's more durable. Totally agree. I totally agree. I mean, and we talked about this last game, but as soon as Slay comes back, Bradbury goes to the bench.
Watch them not do that. Watch them not do that.
No, I have to bench him. And I think, what do you think of the way Ringo's playing, man?
He's good. I think under Matt Patricia, he's shined. I mean, he's played well. Even Eli Ricks has shined. I mean, I think you have to seriously consider if he plays like the next 3 games lights out. I think you have to seriously consider trying to do something with Bradbury's contract or after this season or something.
Just got to eat it. You don't have to eat it, dude.
Yeah.
John Jones says he's got to put up next year's draft. He knows pressure on him and Laura. Yeah, he's got to have a good draft. No question about it.
Mm-hmm.
Major Payne says 500 coaches have 3 weeks to save their jobs. It would not surprise me if it went bad, they fired the head coach. I know people think, oh no, that could never happen. But Howie Roseman don't play, dude. He's not giving up any control. He's not giving up any power. They let Doug go. Don't let anybody go, as far as I'm concerned. Fabio Davis Super Chat goes, Howie's the best GM when it comes to cap space. I think when it comes to cap space, when it comes to trade, I mean, he's even done a better job in the draft, I think, of
past
late.
3 years. Yeah.
But the problem is if the analytics department is carrying so much weight that they're affecting how the coaches come up with their game plan and what kind of style they're going to play, I think that's a bad thing. I do. I think coaches need to be able to have their own guys coaching. I mean, people forget when Doug became the head coach, Jim Schwartz was already hired as the defensive coordinator. He was a defensive coordinator before Doug became coach. So I think the control when it crosses into that is not good.
Yeah, they have to hire new blood. Like, that's the problem too. Like the hire from within, or they go get a positional coach that's in dire need of a job and will do anything to get a. When positional coaches want to increase their pay raise too, they want to be coordinators and they want to go to another team. And I feel like that's the easiest guy to get, the guy that wants from a positional job, not even an ex-defensive coordinator to a head coach or an ex-defensive coordinator in general, just like literally a guy that's at a positional job that wants to pay increase, get to a coordinator job and says, I'll do anything you want me to do. I'll call whatever defense you want me to call. And I think that's the controlling factor. The second thing they can't do is stop. Howie's got to let go and stop. You got to stop hiring. You got to stop promoting from within. It's just not. It's just not working anymore.
No.
So
I agree. JH David Super J goes, hope my conspiracy theory is true, and they are saving a new offense for the playoffs. If we obliterate teams in the playoffs, we owe Nick an apology. If they could pull that off, that would be purely amazing. The only reason I don't think, and I hope it's true too, and thank you for Super Chat. The only reason I don't think it's true is because of the way they panicked versus that Giants game. It was like I felt like they panicked because they had nothing left. That's what I felt like. Alex says, "Hey guys, 6:30, Sunday morning. I will be at the Link tailgating when the Eagles win. Hopefully, drink eggnog before the New Year." Oh yeah, I've got plenty of eggnog this year for New Year's.
There you go.
Yeah, the game says 1 p.m. Sunday. Yeah, game's at 1.
Yes,
it's a 10 o'clock game for me. Which Joey, we need to do the post game like right after the game.
That's fine
because it's New Year's Eve and stuff.
Yeah.
Obey Crazy David Super Chat goes, Joey, please look at my comment on your last video.
Okay.
Obey Crazy, thank you for Super Chat. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Now, what are your thoughts going into this game with going up against old Jonathan Gannon?
I mean, I mean, yeah. I mean, you want to beat Jonathan Gannon in Philadelphia, no doubt. And that's up to the coaching staff of how uncomfortable they want to make him. So we're gonna hold that accountable right there. But this is a team that is second to last. They give up 27 points a game. They give up 145 yards a game on the ground. So
they're going to throw 80 times.
It's right in front of your face right now.
DeAndre Swift's only getting 5 carries the whole game. We all know it.
So there's no Hollywood Brown. He's on IR as of today. So so they don't even have their number one guy right now.
No.
And I know they have someone on the defensive line that's injured right now. And Kyler Murray is really the only, because
he's hurt too.
And he's hurt.
He's banged up. We don't know how healthy he is going into this game.
Just saying.
DeAndre Swift, 5 carries. That's what it's coming. It's coming. Oh, God. Death Row South, thank you for Super Tagos. Just put a robot on the sideline so AI can tell you what to run at this
Might
point.
as well.
That's basically what they're doing, a lot of these teams. It's why you get ridiculous plays where it's like, it's like your team's up, let's say a team's up 6 points, right? And it's 4th and 2 at the 22-yard line. And instead of kicking a field goal to go up 2 scores, the analytics says you got to go for it on 4th and 2. And then they go for it on 4th and 2 instead of going up 2 points. It's just dumb. It is. It is really dumb. Tamika writes, thank you for the super chat. What up, Philly 500 from Tamika in Virginia. Shout out to you in Virginia. I love your channel. Go Birds. Oh, Tamika writes, thank you. Shout out to you. Shout out to Virginia. I just was in Virginia this past summer. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you. T-Bone, thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. YouTube Pump Life. 500. What's your dream scenario? Mine is Cowboys, Eagles, NFC Championship game. That would only work if the Eagles win. If they lose, that would be a very hard offseason. I kind of want to say this. I know everybody would love that. I would love to beat the crap out of the Niners. I'd like to fire back at them and come back at them. So
I get it.
That would be my dream scenario, is the revenge, on the way we played, because we were so bad and they beat the crap out of us so bad and intimidated us so bad. It really bothered me, Fabio Davis Super Chat goes, where's Sue and Ertz? I don't know.
Yet.
I don't know what happened with Ertz. He hasn't signed anywhere. Don't know what's going on with him. Rob got your favorite Super Chat. Eagles D versus a healthy Kyler. The Eagles might be looking at the 5 seed. Nah. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
I hope not, but
I mean, listen, crazier things have happened. But I mean, if this team can't get it right at this point, and maybe they can't, to me, if they literally lose one of the next 2 games, then what? They don't deserve it, anyways.
No.
They don't. That's why I'm going to probably pull for the Lions tomorrow. I mean, for the Cowboys tomorrow, because if the Eagles can't win the last 2 games, they don't deserve the seed. Scott Davis Super Chat. He goes, Nick said last press conference that Brian Johnson calls the plays, by the way. Yeah, I get that, but it's not just who's calling the plays.
No, it doesn't matter.
What's the plays that is he calling from? Like, there's only so many plays that they have every game plan. Who's installing the plays? Not who's calling the plays, who's installing the plays.
Well,
and where are they getting their information from?
Well, Matt Patricia's not running his own defense. He's just given a play sheet and he's making adjustments to the play sheet. That's all it is. He's not changing the scheme. He's altering it. He's barely altering it. I mean, that's really all that's going on.
Yeah. Billy says, y'all are tripping. We're okay. Defense is the issue, but we're as good offensively as last year.
This guy talent-wise,
talent-wise, we are. I mean, I think talent-wise, we have all the talent in the world offensively, but they're not in the same. They're not playing and executing at the same level. You know what I'm saying?
I get what Billy's saying. Billy's saying the offense is as good as last year. Yes, on paper and what we have presented to us, this offense should be the same as last year. But coordinator Shane Steichen was a big part of this offense last year. That's gone, and these positions are flawed. They're flawed. Not because, there's certain players that have played well this year, but it's 100% the play calling. I mean, I know that this offense that was handed to Brian Johnson, or, Nick kept it to himself on a silver platter this year. But I know the talent's there. I know this could be a top 2, top 3 offense, or the best offense in the league, but they haven't coached that way.
Well, I mean, we talked about it earlier. Imagine if they used DeAndre Swift way better. Like, imagine if they used him more than they have. And I'm not saying they have to overuse him, but just even a little bit more. It would drastically change the way this offense looks. You know what I'm saying?
Overuse him now. Use him now.
Yeah, at this point, you got to. At this point, you have to. Linda says, Eagles got to get back to that muddy waters type secondary. Scare the hell out of the wide receivers. I agree. But see, that's the whole philosophy with the Eagles. It's very simple, right? Their philosophy, offense and defense, is basically the same thing. Offense, you hear the players. We got to have more explosive plays. We got to have explosive plays. And then on defense, it's all about we got to prevent explosive plays. We got to prevent explosive plays.
Right.
But it takes aggressiveness out of the game because they're not willing defensively to do the things that those Buddy Ryan defenses and that nasty defense would do, because they don't take risks. And I think that's coaching, and I think that has a lot to do with the way the Eagles' philosophy as a team, it's what they want to run. I don't think it specifically matters who the coach is. They got to run that kind of system. That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Would they go out and hire, somebody off of like the Jim Johnson tree? Would they get back to that kind of defense? I don't think they would. I think they want this style that they're playing now. Torterville, thank you for super chat. He goes, Laurie views Howie like Mark views Dak. The only difference is Laurie doesn't make Howie videos, or does he? He might, but that's very true. I definitely see that. We got 721 people in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you're new, hit that like. Make sure you subscribe. If you're in my stream, click the link and go sub up my man Joey Shakes. Billy says, laugh my ass off. I love you, Shakes.
I love you too, Billy. Pause.
Show enough says, we need a dominant safety. We've been struggling in the middle since Dawkins and Jenkins left. We need that presence back there again. I agree. And I think they let Guy out the building. It'll be interesting to see, because I think safety is somewhere you might want to look in the draft early. I definitely think like if they don't get Jeremiah Trout Jr., Joey, I'm going to lose my mind.
Oh my God.
Like, I'm literally telling you right now, I'm going to be if he ends up with Dallas, or I saw Dallas content creators talking about drafting Jeremiah Trout Jr. I'm going to puke. The Eagles need to address the linebacker this offseason, dude.
It depends. It depends on what they do at. I mean, you got to look at who you got to watch like who's leaving. Who they're going to trade. There's a lot of bodies. There's going to be a lot of bodies they're going to need next year. So
you're going to lose all your linebackers.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, Nakobe Dean's still out. I mean, at this point, it's like, dude, they can't go into next season and say, "Oh, we have Nakobe Dean." Like they can't do that shit. I can't either.
No,
I can't.
I can't count on Nakobe Dean. No. I think you need another pass rusher. I still think you need another pass rusher. You need another edge rusher. Yeah. You do. John Jones says, is Dan Quinn going back to Dallas next year? I don't think he's going to get a head coaching job anytime soon. I think he'll be back there, but you never know, We'll see.
Yeah, but he tried getting a head coaching job, or he tried getting a job last year. I don't know if he was blocked, or I think he just decided to stay in Dallas this past year. So, I mean,
he might be up for it.
I think he's up to have a new job. I mean, dude, you know what's the problem with this team too is they can't keep coordinators in the building. I mean, they just you can't have a new coordinator every 2 years.
No, and every time we have success, it's the friggin' Colts that screw up.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy. Scott Trent, Denver Super Chase, grab Henry to pair with Swift next year and run. I wanted to trade for him the trade deadline. You kidding? Do you imagine? They'll never do that. I don't even think they're not even going to bring DeAndre Swift back this year.
Dude, I think the most important signing that you need going, and we don't do it, but Swift has got to look at this situation and say, dude, I'm not going to have 1,000-yard season with another team. It's not going to happen.
Going somewhere else, dude. He's so going to be. He's not going to. They're not signing a running back, you know. Brandon says Philly's interior pass rush dropped off a lot with Hargrave gone. Hargrave was overpaid by San Francisco, but Philly needs more interior. I think what you're seeing now with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, I think they hit that wall. I think they hit the wall.
You're running basic. You're lining up and just letting them go. You're not being creative with the stunts. Like you're not creating pressure. That's why they've hit a wall because they're just. The offensive line of every team is probably having a great time with these defensive linemen because they're not doing anything you're not exploiting any weakness to an offensive line. They're literally lining up playing basic all game. There's no stunts. When they run a stunt, there's always pressure. Last year we said that. Remember, every time they run a stunt, it's a sack every time. And then they stopped doing it. And when they stopped doing it, we were getting pissed off. It's like there's no creativity up there.
Thing I will I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
I just say the one thing I did like that Patricia done that we have talked about them not doing this year that we liked is they did use Brandon Graham inside on some passing situations. I did like that when they do that with him. So maybe we also have to give maybe Patricia a little bit time to work some things out too. So we'll see. Never stress it. Thank you for super chat. He goes, where do you think Saleh goes if the Jets fire him? Love both channels. Happy early New Year's, guys. Go Birds. Happy New Year's to you, bro. Man. Thank you so much, man. Shout out to you. I honestly think Saleh's not going to get fired. I think that they're going to bring him back one more year because of the Aaron Rodgers situation.
Agreed.
But if he did get fired, I don't think he would get a head coaching job. I think he would probably go be a coordinator for a year or two. But I think he gets one more year is what I'm guessing. Dan Kelly Green Burrito, thank you for super chat. He goes, one guy I have to look at is Kool-Aid McKinstry, a defensive back from Alabama. I'll have to check him out. The only guy I keep thinking about is Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Joe Vegas, what is happening? Joe Vegas says rumor is Sue is signing with the Niners.
He should.
They just signed a defensive tackle from the Chargers.
Oh yeah, they did. The one that got cut.
The one that got cut. So will that affect Sue? Not, but I wouldn't be surprised. Why not? The 49ers just load up. Why not? They already got a great defensive line. Eagles could bring them back. It would be nice, but I don't know that they will.
Right.
But shout out to Joe Vegas. Chris B, thank you for super chat. Goes Swift 7 carries, Gainwell 20 carries against the Cardinals. Oh my God.
I mean, do they do? There's some games where Swift will barely have like 12 carries. Then there's games where they don't use him in the first half. And that second half, they give him a heavy load.
Yeah, exactly. Antonio Holmes says Trotter Jr. isn't a first rounder. That's even better. That's fine. That's fine. We got 2 second-round picks.
All right. What's the main reason? What's the main reason you want to draft Jeremiah Trotter Jr.?
Because I like the name.
Because he's meant to play here.
Well, I like that. Who his father was, of course, is part. Is a great thing. But I mean, when you look at position needs and the kind of linebackers we need, is he not fit the bill? I mean, is he not exactly what we're looking for?
Yeah,
he's perfect fit.
Yeah, I want a linebacker.
I'm so tired of having linebackers that sign 1-year deals and then go. Like,
Yeah.
I want a line. I mean, we had TJ Edwards. How many years did I say, I think this kid's a player? I think this kid's a player. He finally has one good year where he shows it. Then he goes to Chicago. He didn't get paid that much money. You could have brought him back. He did not make a lot of money. And look at the year he's having in Chicago. Like, to me, I'm so sick of dealing with the linebacker. Can we just draft some linebackers that'll be in our system for multiple years?
I think that scheme. I think the scheme is hurting. I think it's hurting our production in line. I think it's just hurting the way they draft. That's where they don't want to go in the draft. I mean, like they dipped in free agency like 4 or 5 times at linebacker this year. Almost. I would say, Miles Jack, Zach Cunningham. Thank God Zach Cunningham, is coming back, and to see him paired with Shaq Leonard's going to be nice. But, you could take a lot of guys that have been on this team that are successful elsewhere. I don't get, like, do they not know how to use linebacker? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nakobe Dean is just an injury-prone mess right now. So
he is, and you can't count on him. And then in safety, Bayard's got one more year. I would keep Bayard for the next year. I'd keep him, and I'd still try to get a young safety.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about drafting linebackers, I'm not saying you have to draft a guy in the first round. I'm okay with the Eagles taking linebackers in the second round. Take them in the third round. Take them in the fourth round. But just take them. Most of the time, they only do undrafted free agent linebackers. I know they don't like it. I know.
You have to think of it like this, too, because maybe we don't have as many holes as we think. Maybe Eli Ricks needs another offseason because there's he's a nice flash in the pan that's been kind of showing up a little bit. Keely Ringo, depending on what he does the rest of this year, could be a sign of a number 2 corner. Isaiah, what's his name? Rogers, the new corner that's coming here. That
wearing the white helmet, Eagles helmet.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. You know what I mean?
That's
so we don't know.
Interesting.
There's going to be a lot of competition, and we could already have something here. Just got to get guys acclimated.
I think defensive back wise, but who are your linebackers next year?
No, nobody. Yeah.
Nakobe Dean, Ben Van Summeren, and I think that's pretty much it, right? Because I don't think
Singleton's gone. Singleton's gone.
I mean, they're all not under contract. What's his face? Cunningham, they brought in late in the preseason. We're lucky he's even as good as he's been.
Yeah, I agree with you that they should keep Bayard. They should, because I feel like he's a nice addition. I don't think Reed is a future. I don't know. I think as a backup for certain, if they do 3 safety sets or something, that's fine. Safety.
He's not a stud. I'm sorry. I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings, but no, he's not. Brandon Cash says the Eagles' defensive scheme has made the secondary lazy. The whole mentality of the defense is bend but don't break. Yeah, just don't give any big plays, and then they could do everything they want underneath, and then we'll tighten up in the red zone. That's exactly how they think, and it's horrible. Umbrella Man, David Superche goes, love you guys. Hope you had a good Christmas and Happy New Year, Phil. Happy New Year's to you too, my friend. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Freddie, David Superche goes, what happened with Ertz? We're still waiting to see what he wants to do. I don't know, Keith Saunders, David Superche goes, Ben and Snyder from Mizzou is nice too. He's fast. Could you imagine the Eagles have 2 second-round picks? Can you imagine if with those 2 second-round picks they took 2 linebackers? Troy Jr. and another linebacker. Could you imagine for the next 5 years you don't have to worry about linebacker?
We need to see what they do. Obviously, March is right after the Super Bowl. We have to be looking forward to March to see the money that they have that's open right now, the moves they make before free agency, whether they keep Avonte Maddox, because I think he's definitely. I don't think Avonte Maddox is going to be here just because that $11 million cap hit. It's not. They're not keeping him at that number unless they extend him, which. At this point, 4 injuries in 2 years,
Well, Rodgers is your slot corner.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Whether they're keeping Bradbury, whether they're keeping Slay at this point, I don't know, because I think you can get a late round pick for Slay in a trade because he still has one more year left. I know he's got one more. Yeah, the next year's his last year, so relatively, I don't know how cheap he's going to be for another team. I got to look at the numbers, but yeah,
I'd rather keep Slay than Bradbury, assuming you can only get rid of one.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I do like the young defensive backs. I do like Ringo. I do like some of those guys. I they got to play. But, I still think you're going to need another pass rusher. I still think you're going to need 2 linebackers at least, and then eventually you're going to have to start thinking about replacing that right tackle spot on offense too, So there's going to be a lot of issues, and they need a third wide receiver. You could draft one, but
they got no running backs, and they have no running backs.
They got no running backs.
Kenneth Gainwell's the only. I think Kenneth Gainwell's got one more year left. That's it.
Oh God, it'll never end.
And they're going to extend him, big contract.
God,
while you're at work, they're going to extend him a big contract. I don't know why
guys like when guys' contracts seem to take forever to go by, and then you get Avonte Smith, like his contract's going by so quick, it's like crap.
Yeah, so I would think. Do you think Avonte Smith will get an extension next offseason?
I think they'll pick his option up. So they have to pick up an option year. So he'll have all next year and the year after, and then I think they'll start to work on it probably at some point. I think during the summer they'll do it once you get to post June 1st.
Yeah.
But there's no way he's going anywhere, dude. There's no way.
No, hell no. That they'd be stupid.
But they got the option year, and it gives you time to negotiate. So I think they might do an extension with him. And have it kick in after this year.
Because really, it's like Reddick's got one more year left.
Reddick's going to be the one you have to watch. Reddick is going to want more money
next year.
I think Reddick is a potential holdout next year. If you listen to some of his comments at the beginning of the year, like he's talking about being underpaid and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if Reddick we have to redo his deal.
Yeah,
I don't think you have a choice.
No, you got double digit sacks, 11.5 sacks.
Yeah, you got to. He's the only guy that's really like everybody else has fallen off. He's been the only consistent. Yeah. Michael Goldberg, David Super J goes, same under usage with Miles this year with Swift. Yeah, because they just don't value running the ball. David Super Chat. Scott Trent and David Super J, Eagles need a Fred Warner type. He's good looking too. Well, okay. But yeah, we do need a linebacker. The looks, I don't know anything about. I just see a helmet. Fabio David Superche goes, Brian Burns' sweat has fell off. Yeah, he's going to be connected to the Eagles.
I thought Brian Burns might be a big target for the Eagles in free agency next year. He might.
I think we're sitting at $29 million under the cap right now.
Yeah.
So we're going to have money to do some stuff.
Yes.
But that's all, man. We're going to talk about all that later. We got
I know we got a playoff game. We have a couple games and a playoff game still. So
yeah. More David Superche goes, I just got home from a McCoy signing. I'm so happy. Oh, that's very cool, man. I love Shady McCoy. Dean is a bust. Get over it, Philly. I have to agree. I think at this point, I don't see how you can look at Dean any other way.
He's got no availability. It's just
yeah.
Maybe those rumors were right in the draft. Those are the rumors in the draft that he had all these issues and all these problems with his body. Maybe it was true. I don't know.
I still don't have a problem with taking a shot at him.
No, third round.
I think third round. I thought that was a good risk. It doesn't look like it's working out, but you bring him back next year. I think you draft 2 linebackers. And you keep him, and you hope that he takes a step, But you got to be prepared in case he doesn't.
Right.
So we'll see. But yeah, tomorrow. Sunday's a big game for the Eagles, man. I expect a close game early, and I think the Eagles pull away and blow them out. If the Eagles blow them out, that's the best thing. That would be a great sign, Joey. Great sign.
Yeah, no, it definitely will be. It's a big step up, no doubt. And then really just got to win out, and then see what happens. Tomorrow is going to be a big game. Tomorrow between Dallas and Detroit's going to be huge.
Big game. It's a huge game. It has such the ramifications are big for the Eagles because either we're going into Sunday just having to win to clinch a playoff spot, or we have a chance to get into that number 2 seed and control it. So it's a big game for the Eagles tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I'm going to give my score prediction. No, I am because I have to. I think the Eagles are going to win. Man, I really want to say 40 points, but I it's probably can't. I think the Eagles win. I think they win 27-13. I think 27-13. It's a little closer than we like. Like we want a little more points. I think they'll leave some points on the board, but I think overall they'll dominate. And I think this is going to be a game where we're actually going to feel good coming out of it, and something to build on. So I think the Eagles win.
I'll say 20. I'll do 28-17. And that's and I feel like it could be a higher score, obviously, for the Eagles, just because I feel like you could run on this team, and it really depends on containing, Kyler Murray and how healthy he is going into the game. So
yeah, I like Funzology score 74, Gannon 0. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah. Yeah, I expect the Cowboys to win too. I think the Cowboys beat Detroit. Cowboys have lost 2 straight, and they're playing at home. They're a different team when they play at home. The Achilles heel for the Cowboys is they're not a good road team. So they'll beat Detroit at home, and they'll tear up Detroit's defense, and I think they beat them. But they're going to have to go on the road in the playoffs. That's going to be the problem for them. They could literally go to Tampa and lose in the first round because it's at Tampa. They're just not a good road team.
It's true. I mean, it says they've only won 3 road games against horrible teams.
And they didn't look good. A lot of those games, they didn't even look good the first half. Every one of these teams in the NFC have legitimate problems. Like we talk about our problems, but dude, the 49ers have problems. I mean, you don't know what you get with Purdy. I don't know how anybody can sit there and think he is some stuff. I don't think so. You don't know what you get with him. The Cowboys can't win on the road. Detroit has no defense, and their quarterback can't win on the road after December. And then the Eagles, we know about all our struggles. This conference is completely wide open. Whoever can fix their problems the best these next few weeks has a chance to go to the Super Bowl. I really believe that.
Yeah, it's true.
It's
true.
Eagles 31-17. Eagles over Car. I'll take it. It's gonna be. You have the Lions, man. That would be if Dallas drops 3 straight, you're gonna see major panic. If they lose to Detroit, they're gonna start to panic, dude.
Or they might not because they're gonna. We have a playoff game. They'll have time to. It'll just be that excuse, but can't look like that going to the playoffs.
No. If we don't go to the 1 seed it really doesn't matter where we fall. I want Detroit to beat Dallas. I think it does matter though. I think that being the 3 seed, your path to get to at least the NFC Championship game. And I always think get to the NFC Championship game, and then you got a shot. I think it's harder. I think it's harder to play the Rams, who are playing really good football right now, than to play Minnesota or Seattle at home. And then to go into Detroit instead of having Detroit come to Philly, I think is a big difference. So I think the 2 seed does matter. I do. The 1 seed would be great, but the 2 seed is not that bad of a route to get to the championship game.
No.
Toryville said Eagles 27, Cards 20, Cowboys 34, Lions 28. Not much defense. Yeah, that's about right. I think that Cowboys game will be high scoring. Probably back and forth, and I think the Cowboys win at the end. But I mean, they're undefeated at home, and this is their last home game. I think they're on the road next week in Washington. So we'll see. We'll see. But is there anything else, man? We're an hour and 13 in, 740 people here. Thank you guys for being here on a Friday. I will be streaming tomorrow night's game. Just to let you guys know if you want to come hang out. But anything else, man, before we get out of here?
No, I think we're good. I mean, tomorrow's game is going to kind of designate where the Eagles go if they win out, and division as well. So, I mean, the division could be wrapped up after Sunday, or the Eagles have to win out, and they'll keep second seed, and that's what we want right now. And depending, obviously, what the 49ers do the next couple of weeks too.
Right?
It's going to be.
Is there any chance Washington can beat them?
No.
Is there any chance?
They're
playing
already out
this week. So
they're out. They're out 2 starting corners. Like they got injuries like crazy right now. Their defense is gonna get
and the Niners are coming off a loss.
Yeah.
So that's about right. But
Purdy can be Purdy. I don't know. We'll see.
That would be a major. That would be a major. Could you imagine somehow we come out of this whole week and we're the number 1 seed? Going into the last week of it. I mean, that would be just wonderful, House Nelson said 500. I think we clinch a playoffs in a loss and haven't won since. What's not to be confident about? Yeah. You guys that we both clinched the playoff in a loss.
Yeah, I think so.
It'll be interesting that Cowboys get. I think the Cowboys are home though. I mean, it'll be high scoring, but they should be able to beat Detroit. And if they don't beat Detroit, I'm telling you, it's going to be panic. They're going to be panicking there. So we'll see.
All right.
Guys, thank you for joining us tonight. If you haven't, hit the like, make sure you subscribe. Click the link in my description. Go sub up Joey. I will be live tomorrow. Probably have a video out in the morning too. Come hang out tomorrow. Anything else, Joey, before we get out of here?
Well, that's it. Let's get this win, man. So.
Yeah, definitely. James says, take a look at Jacob. All right, I will do that. I'm going to write his name down and take a look at him. All right, guys, thank you so much. With that, we're going to we got one more super chat coming in. Never stress it, man. Thank you for that super chat, my man. Appreciate it. Dallas is only a different team when they receive 13 flags. Yeah, and they always receive 13 flags at home. Then for whatever reason, Jerry Jones got them refs right, especially if the ref has a twang. If he talks like this, you got a problem. You got a big problem.
What the fuck?
A Cowboy twang, like a Texan twang. If they have that accent, they're Cowboy fans, and they'll give them every call. I've been watching this for years. I know. Donna Lucy, thank you for super chat. Everyone, one drop a real quick for Dallas L. I would like it. And happy Friday. We just can't root for the Cowboys. I get it. I know every time Detroit scores, I'm going to be like, yes. How can you not, But what's best for the Eagles is Dallas to win.
Yeah, it's the truth. It is the truth. What's
best for the Eagles is for Dallas to win. It's not going to be easy. It's going to feel really weird tomorrow, but we're going to have to do it, But either way, I'll enjoy the way that it comes out. We'll either be set up to win the division and clinch it, or we'll be running the 2 seed. So I'll take either one. All right, guys, we are out of here. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
One more play. The officials are bad. We had one. Yo, you gotta be motherfucking kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. We have no time for one more play.
Look at this motherfucker running from
up.
to get off the field on 3rd down.
What was that bullshit?
That is not right.
Tell him more. He's got to be better, man.
Oh, that's some bullshit. What was that? We had enough time for one more play.
We had an opportunity to win that game at the end.
But the referee screwed us. The brother screwed us.
I'm upset, but
the brother screwed us.
At least they fought back and tried. Only Cowboys games. You literally.
The brother screwed us. The brother screwed us.
It's going to end the way
we had